Hello friends, my name is Harinder. I have an experience of around 20 years for training the students for various competitive exams. Today we are going to discuss the strategy for the SNAP exam with special reference to the reasoning section. Now students, before we proceed with the questions, let's have a look at the reasoning section of the last 2 years of SNAP exams. In 2013 as well as in 2014, there were 30 questions of analytical and logical reasoning, which consist of a total of 60 marks. That first of all tells us the importance of the reasoning section in this exam, where this is the only section where every question has been allocated 2 marks. So in total, this section carries more than 25% weight of the total marks of this exam. So I need not tell you, this becomes the most important section of the exam. Now in this section specifically, there were questions based on coding, syllogism, relations, directions, analytical reasoning with special reference to the Venn diagram or set questions. Now here are a few questions. I'll discuss a few of those and rest there will be there for your extra practice. Right students? So let's start with the questions. Here is the first question. You can go through this. There are 6 students, A, B, C, D, E, F, and they have won various prizes starting from 12,000 to 2,000 according to the position. So it's very obvious who would have scored better position would have got a higher prize. That is, first prize will get 12,000 and so on. Then there is some further information. 1. It says that A has won less money than B. So A has won less money than B is the first thing that we note from there. It says the difference between C and F was 2,000. Now mind it students, the word used is difference. Difference is a modulus function. So basically it tells us that one of C and F must be 2,000 more than the other. It could be that C has got 2,000 more. It could be that F has got 2,000 more. The next it says, again the word important is difference. The differences between D and F was at least 4,000. So that means D and F have a difference of more than or equal to 4,000. Right? And finally E1's rupees 8,000. So this is the information given to us. Now with the help of this we'll try to crack the questions given therein. Let's have a look at the question. It was, which of the following could be the ranking from first place to the 6th place? So first the person would have got 12,000, to the last would have got 2,000. So 6 people are there. Now students, 2-3 important points. As A has got lesser money, so A must appear later than B. Only then he will get a worse rank and lesser sum of money. C and F a difference of 2,000. So this means C and F must occur consecutively. So let's see on the basis of these two conditions first. C and F should occur consecutively, students. So that means option 3 cannot be our answer. And it was that A and B, A has to appear later than B. That means first option cannot be our answer. Now we are left with second and fourth option, students. Then it was that D and F have a difference of more than 2,000. So there has to be at least one person in between them. It could be more. Now students, if you see carefully in the second option, D and F are together. So that means even that cannot be our answer. So from that options you can say your answer left will be fourth option. So that shall become your answer. Right? Moving on. This was another question, students. It says A 1 rupees 4,000. Now we know 4,000. If you write in terms of prices, say it is 4, 2, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Now it was given in the directions only that E gets rupees 8,000. Now here it says A 4,000. Now students, besides that, let's see the other information was D and F more than equal to 4000 and C and F a difference of 2000. That means C and F have to be together. Now if C and F have to be together, you can see students here, they cannot be at 2000 position, they cannot be at 6000, they can only at position 10,000 and 12,000. And see what the question is. It is says total of C and F. So it will be 10 plus 12. How much is that? So students, the answer shall become 22,000. So this 22,000 given over here shall become our answer, right? Moving on to the next question. Now here it was a question based on alphabets. You can call it series. We have to place up the values. You just need to remember the position of the alphabets. It was a sitter. You can answer this question in 10 seconds. Students, just recall the position here. A appears at position number 1, H at position number 8, F is 6, M is 13, T is 20. So you can see plus 7, K is 11, R is 18, Y is 25. You can again see plus 7 here. So students, 1 plus 7, 8 is given. So 8 plus 7, this means you have to get the number 15 here. And the letter which appears at the 15th position is letter O. Now this letter O will become your answer. That is the option number 1. So this first option is your answer. Moving on. Now it was a syllogism question, students. There are 3 statements given. 4 conclusions are given and we have to mark the option accordingly. It is some newspapers are ACs, some ACs are trees, and all books are ACs. Now let's make this diagram along with the options given. All books are ACs. Now students, you can see if this circle represents books, all books are given to be ACs. Then some ACs are trees and some newspapers are ACs. Now some ACs are trees. So students, you can represent trees like this. You can represent trees like this also, so that it covers the complete books. And third was some newspapers are ACs. Now newspaper, if I take here in the blue color, newspapers could be like this, and even those could be interacting with books. Right students? So if I try to answer this, it says some books are newspapers. You know, conclusion is something which is 100% definite. Now some books are newspapers, you can say not necessarily. All books are trees. No, it could be possible, but again not definite. All trees are books, not again definite. And some books are not newspapers, even that is not definite, because even the whole of the books can be covered by newspapers. We could have very well made the circle of newspapers so large to cover all the books. So none of these follow. Let's see what are the choices given. When you move students, it is only A follows, definitely not. Only B and C not. Now the point worth consideration is that second and third option are having the options values in terms of complementary pairs, either A or C one option or A or D another option. Now if you see carefully, A was some books are newspapers and some books are not newspapers. Students, if you try and see diagrams, either we can make N as separate or we can make it intersecting. That is, it is pretty sure that either some books will be newspapers or some books will not be newspapers. So you can say as it makes a complementary pair. So your answer here shall become choice number 3. Either A or D follows. Right students? Moving on. This is another syllogism question, students, which you can solve for your extra practice. This is a coding question, students. Again, a very simple question. Piece is coded at this. If you only try and see, students, if you code the word piece as R G C E G, you can see everywhere the only coding has been done is +2 in terms of position, or you can say the code has been taken by leaving one letter after that. That is, after P, if you leave Q, the next letter R becomes a code. E, you leave F, G is the code, and so on. So similarly, you try to add 2 in M, then you have N, then it will be O. And students, very importantly, there is only one option which starts with O. Right? So this option shall become your answer. No need to calculate the code of all the letters. Moving on, students. This question, this is the different faces of cubes have been shown to us. We need to find the number on the face opposite to 3. Sometimes some students are very confused how to answer this. You sometimes try to write on your eraser or try to think something. Otherwise, it's very, very simple, students. If you have a look at any vertex of a cube, the 3 numbers that you are seeing, you can conclude they just cannot occur opposite to each other. Now, if you see carefully here, students, if you see number 3 here or number 4, say you see number 4, along with number 4, you can see number 2, 1, 5 and 6. So you can say opposite to number 4, the numbers which are not there are 1, 2, 5 and 6. So which is the only number which is left to appear opposite the number 4? That is obviously number 3. And see our question. Question is, which number is opposite the number 3? So it is number 4. That is choice number 3. Minded students, in such cases, when your answer happens to be something like 4, so many times by error you mark the answer as 4th option. Whereas the answer is 3rd option, the value is 4. Right? Moving on to the next question, this one. Now in this case, students, 4 different figures have been given: a triangle, a circle, a square and a rectangle. Let's write what he says. He says rectangle is faculty members and square is research scholars. Now rectangle is faculty members, square is research scholars, then circle Indians, triangle Americans. Circle represents Indians and triangle represents Americans. Right, students? Well, let's have a look at the question. It is, we have to find the figure which shows faculty members who are research scholars. So it is faculty and research, but not the remaining 2. That is, they are neither Americans nor Indians. Now faculty and research scholars. Students, you can see here, faculty members are this, research scholars are this. So people who are covered by the rectangle as well as by the square, but not by a triangle and circle, they are represented by, you can see this here, they are represented by letter K. Right? So just have a look at the question. K, which is your 3rd option, becomes your answer. Damn simple question, students. And there were 2 questions out of the same. I solved one and second is left for your extra practice. This was another such question. Moving on, students. In this question, we just have to have the basic knowledge of directions, which you know we make it like this. It is north, south, east and west. Now while facing east, it says you are facing this way. Say you are here facing this way. You turn to your left. So that means you turn to your left. Left will become this side and you walk 10. Now here you turn to your left again and walk 10. You walk 10. And then you turn 45 degrees to your right. Students, we know right of this person will be upwards towards the north side. And you move 45 at an angle of roughly 45 degrees and it says you go 50. Now here if you see carefully, the distance is not important. The question asked, now in what direction are you with respect to the starting point? So if your starting point was this, as we know, so in which direction, students? So obviously you are into this direction and this direction we call as northwest. So the answer to the question becomes northwest. right? Moving on, this is a question on relationship, students. Now obviously, because the question says which of the following shows, so obviously we have to check one by one all the options so that we get to judge that P happens to be the maternal uncle of Q. Now students, I'll just explain how to arrive at the answer, how to check the answers given. The answer to this question is the third option. Let's check whether how to prove that to be right. Now P minus M means P is the brother of M. Now this is defined here. P is the brother of M. Now students, here some connotation we use standard. P is the brother of M. So we only get to know the gender of P. Anything that we get to know is a male, we put a positive sign. So P is the brother of M. We don't know anything about M. It could be brother or sister. M plus N. Plus means M is the mother of N. Now here you get to know that M is the mother of N. We get to know the gender of M. It happens to be a female. Then after that, N multiplied by Q. It says N is the sister of Q. Now students, here N is the sister of Q. Now just see, the question was what? See, N is the sister of Q, M is their mother, and P is the brother of that lady. Now can you say P happens to be, or it becomes, the maternal uncle of Q, right? So this third option which I marked earlier becomes your answer. So student, this was another question based on relations. You can answer that. These are the options for the same. Then this is a question on coding. To coding, students, a damn simple question. Again, you need to know the position of the alphabets. H happens to be at position number 8. The moment you see it is 8, you can see 8 there at the last position. So chances are very huge the codes are written in the reverse order. First letter, last position. Same you can see the position of the letter E happens to be at the 5th one. At the 5th position, the letter E appears and the second last code given is E. This means it is sure now the codes are written in the reverse order. Now you want to answer for the word where. Now where the letter W appears at position number 23. So the code has to end with 23. Answer is not 1. Answer is not 3. Now you can see second and fourth option end with 23. They have the same starting point, no need to solve. Just see the middle letter. Middle letter is letter E, which appears at position number 5. So this means fourth is wrong and second option becomes our answer. Right? Moving on, students. This is another question on coding. You can try. It's a simple question. This is one more question on coding which is not that tough. Again, you have to move as per the values position of the alphabets. You can answer it. Now after that, this question, students, this if you have prepared for the competitive exam is something a knowledge base you can call it, that the two main hands of the clock, that is the hour hand and the minute hand, they meet 11 times in 12 hours or they meet 22 times in a day. It's more a question on the knowledge base. If you ask me why, this is due to that between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, they meet only once, which is exactly at 12 o'clock. Otherwise, if you see, both the hands of the clock meet once every hour. But due to this 2-hour period in which they meet only once, in total of 12 hours, they meet 11 times. In one day, they meet 22 times. Right, students? Moving on. This Venn diagram says, students, he says there were 200 students. Okay, let's solve this question. Here, it says there are a total of 200 students and 3 sections, English, Maths and General Knowledge. So here, it is English, Maths and General Knowledge. Now, then it says, English is 125. So let's take this number. Mathematics is 95. General knowledge is again 95. 55 students passed in English and Maths both. Now students, here some of you make an error to write this data over here. But mind it, 55 is that portion which is common between English and Maths both. So 55 will be written here as this complete portion is common between these two sections, right? Similarly, 45 in GK and Maths. So 45 will come here. And 60 in GK and English. So 60 will again come outside here. And my dear student, it says this information is very important. Represented, given in a different manner. They are passed in English and Maths, but they failed in GK. So there are 20 who are passed in English and Maths but failed in GK. So this means this number given over here will be 20. Now students, after that you can calculate. This will become how much? This will become 35. This total is 45. So this becomes 10. This is 60. So this becomes 25. Now this circle has a total of 125. They are totaling 80. So this is 45. This circle totals 65. This is 95. So this is 30. This circle is 70. This is 95. So this becomes 25. Right? So you can fill the complete information so that you can answer the question on an easier basis. Let's have a look at the question, students. It is how many passed in GK and Maths but failed in English? Now students, GK and Maths but failed in English. Just see GK and Maths but failed in English. You can see GK and Maths but failed in English. What is the number here, students? You can see this number. This happens to be number 10. Right? So the answer to this question will be 10, students. So 10 shall become your answer. Right, student? So you can see when you're through with the diagram, you can very easily mark the questions. There is one more question of the same type. You just have to see the data and answer it. Right, students? Now here are the answer to these questions, students. These are the first 8 questions we did. And then there are further up to 16. And then there are 2 more questions. Right, students? I hope you all have learnt something to attempt a reasoning section in a better manner, not only for SNAP but for all the other competitive exams as well. Now, as this was a strategy for reasoning, similarly we have given you videos on strategy for Quant and DI section as well as for the verbal section. I think you all can gain much from that and attempt this exam in a better manner. For any problem, you can write to us at hitbullseye.com. Thank you so much.